very warm welcome also from my side. My name, as mentioned, is Stefan Schneiderbanger. I'm Technical Account Manager working for the vertical Food and Beverage, and my responsibility is the subsegment dairy. So in my daily job, I'll contact with dairy customers, talk with them about architecture, solution, and portfolio from our entire Siemens offering that suits their need the most. Basically, with that, I'm also involved in MOM applications like tracking and tracing. And this will be our today's topic. How can I implement a tracking tracing solution focusing on providing the material genealogy? So therefore, let's have a look at the agenda first. So why tracking and tracing? What are the drivers to implement tracking and tracing solution, and which types of tracking and tracing solutions are available? Then I'll focus on the technical concept, meaning what do we need to implement a tracking and tracing solution? And based on that, I'm going to describe a solution, how it could look like with our Siemens portfolio. And also at the end of this section, I'm going to show you a video that we have running in our test environment that shows the complete installation, so that you also get a feeling what do I get in the end and how does the solution look and feel. Finally, for sure, we aim to have some time for a Q&A session. So whenever you have questions, just drop them in the chat. We'll try to answer as much as we can. So let's start. Why do we need tracking and tracing? So first of all, I want to start with having an overview of the business cases, the business drivers that are beyond the tracking and tracing solutions. And also I want to have a look at the different areas and aspects of tracking and tracing. So overall target of a tracking and tracing solution is creating the digital twin of the product over the entire life cycle. So what we are aiming for is to collect as much data as possible during the production process, and therefore use it to create the digital twin of the entire product. And with that, we're not only looking at traditional process parameters like temperatures and pressures and so on, but we're also looking in more details like the materials that have been used, so the raw materials tracking the involved plots. So this is what we are aiming for. So what are the business cases and the business drivers to implement tracking and tracing? So I start with one of the most important ones. It's simply providing trust to end customers. By having complete tracking and tracing solutions implemented, you could be able to provide the customer just a barcode or something, some piece of identification option that the customer is able to look up all information on the product. So where has it been produced? Where was it shipped? Where was it finally sold? So you are able to provide all kind of information you want to have towards the end customer to build up trust for your product. Another scenario, quite traditional one, I would say, is ensuring the supply chain security. For example, looking at securing the cold chain. So with a complete tracking and tracing solution, you would be also able to ensure that the cold chain is ensured over the entire transport process. Like, for example, if I take milk as an example, after milking the cows, the milk is shipped to the factory. In a factory, it's processed in multiple tanks and transferred to different storage areas. Then it's put into warehouses. From the warehouses, the material is shipped to another warehouses before then it's commissioned and brought to other end customers. So this entire value chain and supply chain needs continuous cooling, and the better you have the transparency of the data of this cool chain, the more quality and the better you can secure the quality of your product. A third scenario that's very important and you hear very often in the news is being able to manage product recalls. As you might know, most of the recalls are just caused by wrong label, where you have missing or wrong information on the labels, what you have to recall. But often we also hear about contaminated food, and therefore you want to be able to make your recalls as precise as possible. meaning you want to recall as less products as possible, but also recall all products that might be affected. And therefore, the more information you have on the consumed materials and the consumed lots, the more precise you can be with your solution. Another area could be improving and managing and improving product quality. So if you're not only reporting the traditional production parameters, but also the material consumptions, you are able to track the entire product and the quality of the product, and you can compare it to reference batches, so-called golden batches. And you can easily see if your final product has deviations from the golden batches or if everything is within specification. Another need that becomes more and more important today is the topic of fulfilling regulations, governmental regulations. So in food and beverage, we see it today, especially in baby nutrition, but also in medical nutrition, where already some strict requirements are in place. But also countries like Russia, they are setting up requirements where you have to be able to identify each lot of a product, and based on that, you need to be able to provide, at least to the government, where has it been produced, which batch was it, and you have to be basically to be able to provide a unique identification for each product. And as part of that tracking and tracing, a last example I brought here is to assure product security. So to prevent fake products or counterfeit products, like we can see here in this example. We also have a very good example for fake butter, for example, where high quality brand butter in India was faked, and just some cheap producers were wrapping into the packaging of or were faking the packaging material of a high quality butter, and therefore asking for more money for a low quality product. That's a simple example with butter, but also if you look at liquors or tobacco, there is a strong need of having the ability to prevent fake products. So that's for the business cases.
Thank you for watching. To learn more about this topic, check out the links in the description. And if you enjoyed what you saw, like the video and subscribe to the channel.